Guys, welcome back to the channel. Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. Listen, I got a hold of the Alexa Nikolas lawsuit from Eat Predators, and I wanted to review it on this video. Now, I just want to give you guys a warning. This is just a lawsuit. These are allegations. These people are going to go to court and figure it out. We're just following through. I'm hoping to also follow through with Kat Tenbarge. Right now, it looks like Alexa is only suing Kat Tenbarge. It doesn't look like she's suing other people. Now, to give you guys kind of like a short and sweet of this lawsuit, Kat Tenbarge is being accused of basically using her position at the time as a journalist to intimidate Alexa, contacting someone that Alexa has accused of stalking, who actually has an active protection order against. And Kat Tenbarge is also accused of using Adam McIntyre as means of like an attack towards Alexa, which I like Adam McIntyre. I don't know if he would be doing that, but this is what the allegations say. I mean, the allegations that Alexa's making against Kat are kind of huge, right? For somebody who's a journalist and in social media, I would be very concerned. And I'm waiting to see what Kat Tenbarge's response is going to be to this, because I'm here for it and definitely going to be following this. But I do want to know what you guys think. Where do you guys land with this? I'm giving commentary. I don't know these people. None of these people do I know, other than being a subscriber, maybe a follower on YouTube. But I've never had personal communication with any of these people. But you guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let's review this. And, wherever you guys stand, you're welcome to your opinion. Let's get into this lawsuit. Let's review this lawsuit that Alexa Nikolas filed against Kat Tenbarge. Okay, we're about to review it, and this is just giving commentary, not legal advice, just opinions. That is all, and I'm just giving a reaction. Alexa has already reviewed this lawsuit on her channel, but I had my own thoughts and I wanted to review it on my channel since it's public information. So the start of the lawsuit starts with some what looks to be screenshots of Kat Tenbarge on Blue Skies. If you work for a reputable news outlet and tweeted something blatantly false, impossibly false, you'd get disciplined, if not fired. Who is disciplining these bloggers? The legal system hasn't caught up to them yet, and they are causing real harm. And this was a tweet in December 22nd on 2022, okay? And then Kat Tenbarge says, it looks like it's another screenshot, but this one might be of Blue Sky. Almost 2 weeks ago, I found out that I was one of the 40 people getting laid off from NBC News. Those who know me know I've wanted to go independent for a long time. Later this month, I've launched at spitfirenews.com. We need journalism that is louder than ever. And then she puts in here, Kat Tenbarge foreshadowing. Oh my God. So she got laid off. So she filed this on the 5th of September. And this is the introduction. All right. So you guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments as I'm reading this. Okay. This lawsuit is about a propagandist masquerading as a journalist. Defendant Kat Tenbarge defamed plaintiff Alexa Nikolas. Tenbarge falsely stated that Alexa publicly disclosed and sealed court documents and police records to attack an underage victim claiming sexual abuse. None of this was true. The court documents and police records were public, nor did Alexa, a well-known advocate for survivors of sexual abuse and assault, attack the victim. Rather, Alexa reviewed court documents and police records, which brought the public narrative surrounding claims of the underage victim into doubt. I'm going to highlight that. Personally, I have never, I'm going to say something for the record, okay? I have never read the victim's court stuff other than what's been put out publicly, like by news source. I've never actually seen the actual documentation to give me any kind of doubt. The way I see it is that if this man has been charged, convicted, went through the process, the judicial process, there would be no doubt about this victim's story at this point. That's just how I see it. Are people falsely accused? Are people falsely convicted? Sure. Completely get it. But if that is the case, then Mr. Bell can figure that out, if that makes sense. To advance this false narrative and obtain negative information on Alexa at all costs, Tenbarge facilitated Alexa's stalker's violation of the restraining order issued against him. Further, Tenbarge relied on anonymous and other clearly biased sources to advance her false narrative about Alexa. When Alexa provided Tenbarge information demonstrated that the court documents and police records in question were public, Tenbarge ignored that information. I have seen a lot of there's a lot of videos that are attached to Eat Predators, and some of the things that they've said about Alexa, back and forth. Now, like I said, for the record, I like Alexa. I think Alexa um, has a very loud and valid voice in a lot of the things she says. There's one thing that if I could give any feedback, which I'm a nobody here on the line, so take my feedback for whatever it's worth. If I can give one thing of feedback, would be that there needs to be a little bit more transparency, right? Because when I heard that she hired Andrew Bretler, the lawyer that was helping Danny Masterson, Army Hammer, all these predators, it's okay to be transparent about saying I hired a lawyer. This lawyer was recommended. Yes, he's defended these people and this people and these kinds of people. However, in the grand scheme of things, this is the lawyer that was recommended to me. Like, there needs to be a level of transparency. And also, as somebody who went to grad school, who didn't just take a certificate program or anything like that, y'all, and undergraduate, working with victims, process that people need to take serious, right? Being a victim doesn't make you a victim advocate, or surviving something doesn't make you a victim advocate. If there's something that Alexa could work on, it would be that. But that's just my opinion. She don't have to listen to me or anything like that. Just my opinion. Let's keep going with this. To advance this false narrative and obtain negative information on Alexa at all costs, Tenbarge facilitated Alexa's stalker's violation of the restraining order issued against him. Further, Tenbarge relied on anonymous and other clearly biased sources to advance her false narrative about Alexa. When Alexa provided Tenbarge information demonstrating that the court documents and police records in question were public, Tenbarge ignored that information. Here's the other question that I have. Wasn't Kat Tenbarge working for like NBC when she was looking into Alexa Nikolas? So wouldn't have she been doing this kind of work under the guise of NBC? And wouldn't that be somebody else that would be party to this? Just a question. This lawsuit is to hold Tenbarge accountable for intentionally and knowingly prioritizing the dissemination of false narratives over the truth to advance her public standing. So here are the parties. Alexa is a former actress turned activist. She is the founder of Eat Predators, an organization that advocates for victims of sexual abuse and sexual assault with a focus on ending predatory behavior in the entertainment industry. Alexa's advocacy is rooted in her own experience as a survivor. Okay. Throughout her career as an actress, Alexa was subjected to SA and harassed both on and off set, including as a minor on the Nickelodeon television show Zoe 101. Due to Alexa's experience as a Nickelodeon child actress and her advocacy for survivors, Alexa was asked to play a prominent role in the documentary series Quiet on Set. The multi-part documentary conducted a deep dive into Nickelodeon's culture of child abuse under the reign of Dan Schneider. And I thought she was great. I thought Alexa was great in exposing some of this on Quiet on Set. I mean, I watched it, thought it was amazing. Tenbarge self-identifies as a technology and cultural reporter. Previously, she worked for publications such as Business Insider and NBC News. Tenbarge reporting primarily focuses on sexual misconduct in the entertainment industry, with a particular focus on online content creators. After being fired from NBC News, Tenbarge created a blog called Spitfire News. Now, if I had to go back and do some research on this a little bit more, I do remember like Kat Tenbarge kind of talking about various content creators and whatnot, exposing sexual misconduct in the entertainment industry with a particular focus on like content creators. I remember there being some controversy over this. After being fired from NBC News, Tenbarge created a blog called Spitfire News. Okay. So jurisdiction. So Alexa lives in California and Tenbarge lives in New York. So she is suing her, I believe, in New York. All right. So here are the facts. This is what Alexa is alleging. The state of Ohio versus Bell and the public records related to the case. This dispute centers on Tenbarge's claim that Alexa publicly released sealed court and police records concerning former Nickelodeon star Jared Bell, so Drake Bell. As explained below, Tenbarge claims were categorically false because the records were public. In May 2021, the state of Ohio brought charges against Bell in a case entitled the State of Ohio versus Jared Bell. Okay, so they have the case numbers there. On June 23rd, 2021, Bell pled guilty to attempting to attempted endangering children and disseminating matter harmful to juveniles. Okay, so Drake Bell pled guilty to all this. On July 12th, 2021, the court issued Bell's sentencing order. The Bell sentencing order, which was entered on July 15th, 2021. The Bell sentencing order sentenced Bell to two years of community control / probation. Critically, the Bell sentencing order stated the offenses are not reportable per Ohio sex offender registry. The court records in the Bell case, the Bell court records, were never sealed and remain public. Ohio has no law that automatically seals court records for criminal cases or cases where the victim is a minor. Rather, to seal or expunge court records of a criminal case, the defendant must apply to seal or expunge the records under Ohio Revised Code. Okay. But let me stop right here. And then she puts the revised code here on this lawsuit. I was under the impression that that because the victim is a minor, that things were automatically sealed. I mean, might be my ignorance, but y'all let me know in the chat. Okay, let me correct myself real quick about Ohio. So I was under the impression that like juvenile records were immediately sealed for whatever reason it may be, but it sounds like even juveniles under the age of 18 have to apply to seal their records. Okay, I found that out through my own independent search of stuff. Okay, the court can also automatically seal specific cases. However, sex offenses involving minors are not automatically sealed. Does that make it okay for somebody to go online and, talk about a victim that, was a minor at the time and expose all of this? No, I don't agree with that, right? I also think that, you know, Drake Bell's victim is not a celebrity, right? Like she was a private person. She wasn't a public figure. And I think that, in my opinion, it should have just stayed that way. That's just my thought. Nor is a victim of a crime entitled to seal all judicial records. Rather, the victim must apply to redact personal identifying information from judicial records under the ORC. With the sole exception of Bell's sentencing memorandum, neither Bell nor the victim in the Bell's case have filed an application to seal, expunge, or redact any of the Bell's court records. As such, with the exception of Bell's sentencing memo, the Bell court records remain public. But the victim was a minor, so I feel like there's a clause or something in place that says that if a victim is a minor, she doesn't even have to like apply to have the seal. Like it's automatically sealed based on her age. Okay. And there's some footnotes here. So she's adding kind of the court records to this lawsuit. Let's keep going. So on January 30th, 2023, the city of Cleveland, Ohio received a public records request related to the Bell case, the Bell's record request. Specifically, the Bell's records request stated, I'm interested in the case file from the charges that pertain to Jared Bell. So the case is right there. Okay. So question, who sent a public records request? In addition to the case file, I'm interested in any videos or interviews taken by Cleveland police. Okay. So then on January 31st, 2022, the next day, the city of Cleveland granted the Bell records request. Nearly 50 documents related to the police investigation against Bell were made available to the public. The Bell police records. The Bell police records were voluminous and comprised of various reports, statements, interviews, correspondence, and documentary evidence. Okay. All personal identifying information about Bell's victim was redacted from Bell's police record. So Alexa's saying that there was already redactions to the victim's information. The New York Times published 2 articles about the Bell case. The first was published on June 23rd, 2021, the date Bell pled guilty. And then the second was published published on June 12, 2021, the date Bell was sentenced. The second New York Times article falsely reported that Bell was required to register as a sex offender. Did it report that? Well, I have a subscription to the New York Times. Why don't we look into that? The New York Times did fix that statement. It says a correction was made on March 18, 2024. An earlier version of this article misstated the punishment that Drake Bell was given in child endangerment case. He was given probation and community service, but was not required to register as an SO. Okay, so there was a correction, and Alexa is right about what the New York Times stated. But here's the question: what does that have anything to do with anything at this point? That's the question that I have. Okay, so on March 18, 2024, New York Times corrected that statement to clarify. We read that Bell was not required to register as a sex offender. So in Alexa's video on the Bell case. So on October 12, 2023, Alexa released a video on her YouTube channel entitled Alexa Nikolas Exposes Drake Bell, the Bell video. I remember this video too. It's been quite some time since I last watched it though, and I don't even know if it's available. In the video, I think it's private now. In the video, Alexa covered the first New York Times article. Since the Bell video was published before the New York Times article corrected the second New York Times article, Alexa incorrectly implicated Bell as being a sex offender on the video. Okay, so the girl corrected herself. All right, good for her. I'm glad she did that. I mean, that's what we do. We get shit wrong on YouTube and we correct it. That's what I do it all the time. I correct it. That's good. I'm glad she did that. Alexa discovers inconsistencies in the Bell case. So let's get into this. On March 4, 2024, the producers for Quiet on the Set inform Alexa for the first time that Bell also had a prominent role in the documentary. Alexa was deeply concerned by this development due to the New York Times articles. Alexa believed that Bell was an S predator and registered SO. She did not want to appear in a documentary with Bell if the documentary would ignore Bell's own conviction in the Bell's case. Okay. Kate Taylor is a journalist for the Business Insider and one of the producers for Quiet on the Set. Taylor attempted to assuage Alexa's concerns about Bell's presence in Quiet on the Set. On March 9, 2024, Taylor sent Alexa the Bell court records and Bell police records, collectively the Bell records. After sending Alexa the Bell records, Taylor conducted a follow-up phone call with Alexa to walk through the Bell records. A true and correct copy of Taylor's March 9, 2024 email to Alexa is attached to this complaint as Exhibit A. Oh, okay. So, all right. Okay. So Alexa was working with Kate Taylor, who is also a producer on Quiet on the Set. Okay. And Taylor was the one that sent Alexa the Bell records and all the records. And so then Taylor got on the phone with Kate Taylor got on the phone with Alexa and they did like a follow-up call about the records. Okay. So Alexa received these records from another journalist. That's what I'm hearing. Or another person, producer, media person. Okay. All right. So a true and correct copy of Taylor's March 9, 2024 email to Alexa is attached to this complaint as Exhibit A. Okay. Upon closer review of the Bell records, Alexa discovered for the first time that there were numerous inconsistencies between the information contained in the Bell records and the online narrative about Bell's conviction, which was fueled in part by the New York Times article and the second article. For example, contrary to the online narrative, the Bell's records demonstrated, one, the forensic evidence contradicted the victim's testimony of the sexual assault. Number two, the witnesses were not strangers, but the aunt and chaperone of the victim and an individual who frequently photographed Bell. Three, Bell did not send or exchange nudes with the victim. 4, when Bell learned the victim's age, she disengaged communicating with her immediately. And 5, Bell was not required to register as a sex offender. Okay, so Alexa reviews all these documents and it's like she's having like a change of heart, like, oh my God, like, or at least is maybe understanding a different side of this. Okay. So this is what she learned. Quiet on the Set is released and receives massive attention, public attention. On March 17, 2024, Quiet on the Set was released to the public. The public interest in the documentary was tremendous. According to news reports, in the first weeks of its release, Quiet on the Set received 1.3 billion minutes of watch time and approximately 20 million views. Okay. Alexa makes the Bell video private. On March 20th, 2025, Alexa decided to make the Bell video private and inaccessible to the public. Alexa made this decision because after beginning to review the Bell's records, she realized that the Bell video contained misinformation about Bell, and Alexa did not want to contribute to the dissemination of misinformation. One of the things that people struggle with when it comes to Drake Bell, okay? Now, like I said, I don't feel like I know a whole lot or everything. And I'm gonna be honest with you. He has the conviction that he has. First of all, why was he even dealing with minors? Why is he talking to minors? Why is he any of this? To me, that's a red flag, period. Okay. Like I'm not gonna excuse or anything like that. But the thing that people really struggle with Drake Bell, and I've had the Drake Bell fans up in here in my comments and stuff like that. Um, Victims can also become perpetrators. There's a cycle that goes with that, right? So, like, if you've been victimized, there is like good research out there that supports that predators that prey on people, prey on children, were victims at some point in their lifetime. Some victims will choose to address some of these issues that they've been through so that this pattern of behavior isn't repeated, and they're not victimizing other people. And then there's victims and survivors out there that they don't do that. They know that whatever was done to them was wrong. Drake Bell was definitely a victim at some point, but then at some point he chose to engage in behaviors that the state of Ohio found not to be okay. All right. So to me, he's convicted, he's guilty of what he did. There is nothing else to it, right? And are there exceptions to some of these cases? Sure, there could be. There are out there where people are wrongfully convicted or accused and all this other stuff. But this didn't happen 20 years ago. This just happened recently in the last 10 years. So to me, it's like we have to kind of weigh this in. And that's the delicate piece out of this, that people fail to understand that Drake Bell sure was a victim at some point, but he also engaged in predatory behavior. This is what it is. Okay. It's a delicate situation. But anyways, let's keep reading this. Alexa makes the Bell video private. On March 20, 2024, Alexa decided to make the Bell video private and inaccessible to the public. Alexa made this decision because after beginning to review the Bell records, she realized that the Bell video contained misinformation. On March 23rd, 2024, in response to the public criticism of Alexa's decision to private the Bell video, Alexa tweeted she would go over the Bell records during a live stream on her YouTube channel. Oh no, this is not good. So it would be better, in my opinion, I think it would have been better to have Alexa say, guys, yes, I made a Drake Bell video. Yes, this is what I did. However, I don't know if I stand this way anymore because of information that I received. At the same time, I still stand for victims, whatever it may be. Maybe Alexa had a change of heart and she didn't believe or doesn't believe that, Drake Bell's convictions are accurate. That would be on her. But it would have been better to have just said that versus then gone over then maybe go through records to discredit the victim, because then the victim is like the villain, and that's not the case at all, given that she was of child age at the time. The anonymous online account Exposing Rich falsely claims Alexa published sealed records for the Bell case. The anonymous online account Exposing Rich falsely claims Alexa published sealed records from the Bell case. From March 23rd, 2024 through March 24th, 2024, an anonymous account on X entitled Exposing Rich made numerous defamatory posts about Alexa. True and accurate screenshots of Exposing Rich posts are below. So is it Exposing Rich? Alexa Nikolas supports Pedialites. Oh my God. Because I don't know what you expect people to think when you refuse to condemn Drake Bell and talk about his victims. Well, why doesn't Alexa bring this person up in this? Like, I know that they're anonymous, but I mean, this isn't Kat Tenbarge, right? Just a question. And then another one that says Alexa Nikolas did not receive permission from Drake Bell's grooming victim to deep dive into her records for a effing podcast. I confirmed this today. Wow. Okay. And I've seen this video right here. She hijacked the movement from an actual credentialed advocate and a social media specialist. After they had a falling out, Alexa locked them out of the account they started. So I remember watching this video. It's available on YouTube. It's like all of these individuals, and I believe Alexa has exposed or at least put out there each and every of these individuals. Like, she's kind of like called them out and everything. It further goes, this is the entire file. It doesn't take very long to diligent read. It can be read in about 20 minutes. Okay. And then they're saying this is the entire criminal file from Ohio. This seems very small. Where's the rest of it? There's no rest of it. Want to know why? Drake Bell requested documents be sealed and changed his plea from not guilty to guilty. This issue is not content, and we should have to sit through several of your hours long videos to get the information. You should be sharing it freely. Oh my goodness. Okay. So these are just screenshots, y'all. Okay. Let's keep going to the lawsuit. Most notably, Exposing Rich made the completely baseless claims that one, both the Bell records and Bell police records were under seal. Okay. Two, there was a limited number of Bell records in the first instance. Okay. That California, where Bell resides, seals all S offender records, and consent of the victim is necessary to disclose a California SO report. On March 26, 2024, Alexa spoke to Taylor on the phone. Number one, to confirm that Bell records were publicly available. And number two, receive instructions on how to access the Bell records. Taylor confirmed the Bell records were public and provided instructions on how to obtain them. Taylor sent a follow-up email to Alexa immediately after the phone call to provide written instructions. A true and correct copy of the March 26, 2024 email from Taylor to Alexa is attached hereto as Exhibit B. Tenbarge publishes, so I'm waiting to see all these exhibits. So I can't wait to see them. Tenbarge publishes an article for NBC News on Bell that originally explicitly cited the original Exposing Rich account. On March 27, 2024, Tenbarge published an article on the website for NBC News entitled Drake Bell Accusers Face Online Attacks After Quiet on Set Docuseries. The Tenbarge article. In the Tenbarge article, Tenbarge falsely stated that most of the court documents in the Bell case were sealed to protect the victim's privacy. Additionally, the original Tenbarge article explicitly referenced the anonymous Exposing Rich account. Tenbarge has even gone on record to state that Exposing Rich is a great account. On information and belief, Tenbarge relies on Exposing Rich's tweets, in whole or in part, for the assertion that Bell's records were sealed. Oh man, okay. Let's keep going. Tenbarge begins working on an article about Alexa's based on court filings from Alexa's stalker. Tenbarge considered the Tenbarge article to be her magnum opus. Since its publication and until this filing, Tenbarge pinned the Tenbarge article at the top of her X account. Tenbarge hoped to use the Tenbarge article as a springboard for other articles concerning the participants of Quiet on Set. Tenbarge received her opportunity to make another article on the participants of Quiet on Set. Shortly after April 10, 2024, Tenbarge became aware that Alexa's stalker, who was subject to a restraining order, Manny Schiff Haley McMurray, filed his own request for a restraining order against Alexa, as explained in greater detail below. Tenbarge used Haley McMurray's filing as documentary evidence to support her investigation against Alexa. Wow. Background on Haley McMurray stalking and harassment Alexa and her family. Haley McMurray has repeatedly stalked and harassed Alexa, her husband, and her young daughter. Oh my God, this is scary. If If accurate, this is scary. Haley McMurray was a former volunteer for Alexa's survivor organization, Eat Predators. After being asked to leave the organization, Haley McMurray made numerous threatening posts about Alexa and her family. Additionally, Haley McMurray moved from Marin County, which was approximately 8 hours away from Alexa, to approximately 10 minutes from Alexa's residence to engage in further stalking. He really moved? On 3 separate occasions, Haley McMurray stalked Alexa for hours on end. Below are some contextualized screenshots of social media posts Haley McMurray made about Alexa and her family that were submitted to support Alexa's restraining order against Haley McMurray. Manny makes cold and dead threats 2 days after I blocked him. These are the quotes. If the universe tries to rip one more thing that I love out of my hands, they're actually going to be cold and dead. Chill the F out. Let's start being nice. And these were towards Alexa, right? Let's read another one. Manny posted gun photo with my name. Oh, you're a leftist? Name everyone who has left you. And then I think I'm going to try to zoom in here. Lord have mercy. I'll name the last few people who left me. Melanie Veronica, Jaden Young, Shelby Hill Phillips, Ancy Kenny, Alexa Nikolas, Michael Gray. They're so committed to protecting fragility that they're forcing me to play the role of villain. Since I've insisted upon accountability. Oh, that's I'm sorry, y'all. This is concerning, okay? I don't know. This isn't cute. It further says, daily reminder, Alexa Nikolas is not the leader of Eat Predators. Alexa Nikolas has been deeply harmful and divisive to survivors. Alexa Nikolas has stolen work from several marginalized survivors. Alexa Nikolas has refused to take accountability for her tyrannical displays of dismissive power. She and her husband are childish chumps with too much attention and no solid ethics. They're opportunistic in damaging ways. Listen, if somebody blocks you, you just gotta go. Like, if she had blocked this guy, or this is not good, okay? Manny writes, kill your idols and posts about me. I had never seen this before, y'all. That's why I'm having this reaction. Archiving, building, and deleting. It's the future. Andy Warhol. Bless your broken, cruel, beautiful mind for calling out our shots. Kill your idols. Who are gods? Who are masters? Lean into your fire's phoenix flock. Parlor tricks, glue, and popsicle sticks. Love bombs burn bridges too. It's not as bad as I thought it would be before happening to me, but it is still hell. This wickedness in your anxiety, consuming the salt in my skin, licking my bones to taste the source of my splitting. You knew I was torn between being body and being a spirit better than most. And then excerpts from a piece that's falling out of me. Wonderland is burning. Well, how do we know this is this one right here? Oh, I shouldn't even ask this, because I was going to ask, how do I know this is directed to Eat Predators? And the hashtag right there says Eat Predators. I know there's more posts. Manny's second physical stalking. That's okay. I got a plan. Yeah. After lying to the police about why he was there, Manny insinuates retaliation against me. Okay. So included a screenshot of the police report. Now I'm going to try to read it here because I can't zoom in for whatever reason on mine. So it says, on February 23rd, 2023, officer and officer were working uniform patrol in a marked black and white patrol vehicle. And we received a radio call regarding a suspicious circumstances. And so there's the address there. While en route, CCPD dispatch advised the call is regarding a possible stalking incident. Upon arrival, we contacted the reporting party, but later identified as Alexa, who essentially stated the following. Alexa was attending a protest with a group of friends at the above mentioned address. Alexa stated that she feels she is being stalked by another subject that was present at the protest. They named Manny. Alexa stated that she is a public figure and she's been getting harassed online by McMurray and Manny, and had been noticing Manny following her in public. Alexa previously reported this issue out of the Silver Lake City and LAPD and other officers. Alexa stated the LAPD report was regarding harassment via text messages and social media. Posted by McMurray. I then contacted McMurray, who essentially stated the following: McMurray was at the above mentioned location because he drove his friend to perform a music play. It should be noted that the music play was performed right next to the location of the protest that Alexa was partaking in. McMurray stated that he had run into Alexa at a previous protest that she was involved in approximately 1 month ago, okay, in Los Angeles at TriStar on Sunset Boulevard. He stated that he was at TriStar protests handing out flyers. McMurray also mentioned that there were hateful texts and social media posts exchanged. This report is for information purposes. So this is just informational. Was there an arrest made out of this? No, but it doesn't look like it because it's not on the report, but this is what Alexa posted on the lawsuit. Okay, Manny gunshot threats. This was posted on the March 10th, 2023. I do threaten people. I threaten people who lie, abusers, manipulators, grifters. Try me. It's my legal right to do so, and it's the right thing to do. He says, have you or someone you love been threatened by me? You may be entitled to have me follow through or whatever I said I was going to do. Manny keeps pictures of my daughter up. Oh no. There's a picture. Did she hug the baby? Okay. Um Intimidates Alexa using 2-year-old daughter pin in his profile. So was he like, all right, like, oh, is this bothering somebody? So this is what Manny wrote. Um was he pretty close, like, to Alexa? I mean, that's Alexa's daughter, right? Like, was he pretty close to her that, like, why would he, if this guy is such a threat, why would he have access to your children? That's the question that I have, anyways. Or maybe there was a fallout afterwards. I'm not really sure. Y'all fill in the blanks for me. Manny violates Instagram posting on minor policy. Reported violation. Okay. Thanks for your report. We received the content you reported since it violated our terms to use our community guidelines on image privacy. We have removed it. Okay. Manny claims ownership over a photo of my daughter. I own that photo. That image is mine. If you want anything else less than that, you will file with a effing court and you will get a judge to give me a court order after you explain to a neutral third party what I did wrong and why you are revoking consent. Manny repeatedly targets my 2-year-old daughter. Oh my God. It's up. It's pinned right where I put it because I have full legal right to do so. I'll thank you kindly, IG, to not flex your caste system on me. I'll sue you. I'll win. You're wrong if you think I'm doing anything wrong. I have a lot of thoughts, but I'm not familiar. This is the first time I've ever seen this. This is really concerning. Um, but okay. Alexa seeks and obtains a restraining order against Haley McMurray. Due to his stalking and harassment, Alexa sought a restraining order against Haley McMurray on April 12, 2023. The Superior Court of the County of Los Angeles granted Alexa's request for a restraining order against Haley McMurray. The restraining order, specifically, the court found Alexa met her burden to show a reasonable person would perceive Haley McMurray as posing a credible threat of violence against them. In relevant part, the restraining order prevents Haley McMurray to harass, intimidate, or disturb the peace. Okay, so here's the question. I'm going to stop right here. Did Kat Tenbarge have contact with Haley McMurray? Did Kat Tenbarge know the gravity of the situation? Because I'm going to tell you this. If I was Alexa, I'd feel some type of way about anybody reaching out to somebody, or the court has granted a restraining order. I would feel some type of way about anybody contacting to get to me. Does that make sense? But that's just my opinion. Just my opinion, okay? And again, I don't know anything other than what's being reported on this lawsuit. Commentary, that's all this is. Alexa, her daughter, and or her daughter. Contact with Alexa, her husband, and or her daughter, either directly or indirectly in any way, to include but not limited to in-person, phone, writing, by public, private email, by interoffice mail, email, text message, or other means. Okay? No posting on social media of Alexa, her husband, or her daughter. So they included this restraining order, everybody. Okay? So on May 7, 2025, the restraining order was renewed and expanded to encompass Alexis's husband and children. Okay. And on July 21st, 2025, the Court of Appeal affirmed the restraining order. On April 10th, 2024, Haley McMurray filed a request for a temporary restraining order against Alexa. The request for a TRO. As part of his filing, Haley McMurray filed countless documents that were irrelevant to his request for a TRO. Rather, it was an attempt by Haley McMurray to circumvent the restraining order and publicly communicate his grievances about Alexa. A true and correct copy of the request for a TRO is attached here too, and incorporated herein on Exhibit E. Okay. Notably, Haley McMurray failed to prosecute his request for TRO on May 2nd, 2024. The request for a TRO was set for a hearing. Despite Haley McMurray's himself selecting the hearing date, Haley McMurray requested a continuance of the hearing on the grounds that he required more time to prepare. The court denied the continuance and dismissed the request for a TRO without prejudice. To date, Haley McMurray has never refiled his request for a TRO. Alexa explained why she took down the Bell video and Tenbarge's response with the 18 questions. Okay, let's get into this. So, yeah, I didn't know that Alexa was going through this. I also didn't know, like, I have a lot of questions about this. Alexa explains why she took down the Bell video and Tenbarge's response with the 18 questions. On April 15, 2024, Alexa streamed live on YouTube. In the stream, Alexa explained why she took down the Bell video, why she blocked the Exposing Rich account on X, and the hypocrisy of Tenbarge's article citing Exposing Rich when the account engaged in the same harassment and was condemned in Tenbarge's article. Okay. And I remember watching that video. I remember I was in the bushes when that live chat was going on. That live chat was like crazy. But yeah, I remember that video and that live. On April 16, 2024, Tenbarge sent Alexa an email concerning a forthcoming article Tenbarge and NBC intended to publish about Alexa and predators. The unpublished article. In the email, Tenbarge provided a list of 18 questions. The 18 questions. A true and correct copy of Tenbarge's April 16, 2024 email to Alexa is attached here too as Exhibit F. Okay. The 18 questions indicated that Tenbarge was going to paint Alexa as a fraud and hypocrite who targeted Bell's victim. And respectfully, I saw those questions, at least some of them. Personally, I didn't feel like that's what Kat was trying to do. She was asking her, I think, legitimate questions, and we could look at those questions again. But I did review some of this video. I think I did one video, and I was supposed to do a follow up, but I got distracted with other things. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about this. It was also readily apparent from the 18 questions that Tenbarge was aware of the restraining order and Haley McMurray request for a TRO, as many of the 18 questions were related to the documents submitted by Haley McMurray. Oh, in support of his request for a TRO. So one thing that was unclear, and if I could ask a question to Kat Tenbarge, would be, Miss Ma'am, did you talk to Haley McMurray knowing that there was this like TRO? I think it's a legitimate question that, could be asked. The chart below demonstrates which of the 18 questions were based on the documents filed in connection with Haley McMurray request for a TRO. All materials are direct quotes and preserve all misspelling and grammar. Okay. So so she tabled the questions. How does Alexa respond to the claim that she obtained a restraining order against a former Eat Predators member on false or incomplete pretenses based on claims within the April 10th filing and information from 4 sources? So this was one of the questions. So Kat knew that there was a restraining order against one of the members. Was Kat aware of why, like, Alexa got that restraining order. I mean, y'all see those pictures? Those are concerning. Source of question from Haley McMurray's request for TRO, page 5. Obtain a restraining order against me, similar false claims she made to this court on April 12, 2023. Therefore, I cannot and have not contacted her. Question 5. Based on information from 3 sources with direct knowledge and claims made in legal documentation, it is correct that attorneys, including former California Senator Joe Dunn, encourage Alexa and other survivors in the entertainment industry to form an advocacy group. It is correct that Dunn held an unofficial advisory role, encouraging the group to establish an organizational structure and legally reviewing Eat Predators material. So then we go to Haley McMurray learns of Eat Predators advocacy group for alleged survivors via Amanda Peters, a founding organizer alongside Alexa Nikolas, Kay Brown, Kaylee Higgins, Nomi Abadi, disgraced Senator Joe Dunn. Early members also included Neela Salinas, Jeff Anderson, Shannon Shea Ruth, Melissa, and Jerome Schumann. Okay, so these names are familiar. Shannon Shea Ruth is the woman that made allegations against Nick Carter, and then Melissa is also one of them, and then I believe Jerome is Melissa's dad. Okay, so they were part of Eat Predators as well. Okay, had no idea. Question 1. What are Alexis's credentials and professional experience regarding victim advocacy? Has she ever worked for or been involved in any other advocacy group besides Eat Predators? Does she have any training, such as from a national organization or advocacy group? And I think this is a legit question. It's okay to, this is probably one of the questions that I don't think Alexa has any right to be upset about, because it's a question that a lot of, people get asked. Page 13, Alexa Nikolas has no training to host a group for survivors of trauma that was advertised to thousands. Outside of being a survivor, what other training does she have? So I guess that this is something that Alexa picked up from McMurray's own document. So what Alexa is saying here is that Kat Tenbarge connected with Manny, right? And that she got those questions, or at least based her questions on Manny's own TRO. That's what this is saying to me. Question 7. How would Alexa respond to the characterization that she is crafting a revisionist history of the origins of Eat Predators? Haley McMurray expressed concerns about Alexa Nikolas and Michael Gray's Alexa husband conduct and disclosed plans for Eat Predators. Nikolas and Gray became dismissive and paranoid directly with Haley McMurray. An item of Haley McMurray's concerns regards Michael Gray's and Nikolas' intentions to secretly incorporate the stolen group Eat Predators as a for-profit business entity, not a nonprofit. Haley McMurray was concerned about Nikolas and Gray's plans, but they agreed to discuss it more over the coming days. Okay. Why did Alexa establish Eat Predators as a for-profit entertainment company, with Alexa serving in every executive position? All right, and then this is out of TRO from McMurray. Alexa incorporates Eat Predators as a stock corporation, a for-profit business structure with core purposes to generate financial return for shareholders, typically achieved by selling products or services, and profits are used for various purposes like reinvestments, paying employees, or distributing dividends to shareholders, owners who hold stock. This is directly in contradiction of Alexa's ongoing public presentation since August 2022 that she envisioned Eat Predators as a nonprofit, a belief her followers took to heart and continue to address the group as a nonprofit publicly. Question 8. Based on information from 5 sources with direct knowledge and public social media posts, it is fair to say that Alexa has driven internal and external conflicts regarding Eat Predators, including personal attacks against other members and efforts to turn the rest of the group against specific members. This is Kat Tenbarge's questions. Why has Alexa used ePredator's YouTube channel to attack former members of the group? What purpose does this serve within victim advocacy? Yeah, and I thought that was a no-no. Like, I didn't feel like that was a good thing for her to have done. Like, I get that she has to defend herself and everything, but yeah, that wasn't a good look, in my opinion. It further goes, page 21, December 21st, 2023 through January 2024. On YouTube, Respondent Nichols dedicated dozens of hours broadcasting to thousands of viewers with targeted episodes intended to badger and ridicule various people. After a cryptic Guess Who, yeah, I remember those Guess Who's, style marketing campaign on her social media, Alexa launches a series of videos on December 26, 2023. This series dedicates dozens of hours streaming to thousands of people on YouTube, while relentless badgering and ridiculing a roster of names with unique videos featuring her targets, including Haley McMurray, who Alexa refers to by both Manny Haley McMurray as well as his common professionally used name, Schiff. Kay Brown, who Alexa insinuates in the stream title to be deceptive. Callie Higgins, who Alexa labels in the stream title to be a thief. Neela Salinas, who Alexa insinuates in the stream title to be connected to her stalker, and Autumn Whitaker, who Alexis labels in the title as dangerous, Exhibit 14, and members and moderators from within her company's current memberships with whom Nikolas had recently mismanaged complaints and conflicts. So those were the questions. And so if I'm understanding this correctly, Alexa saw Kat Tenbarge's questions, and it's like these questions match exactly what, Manny, who she has a temporary restraining order against, she starts matching these, and she's like, yeah, no, it's definitely a thing that Kat Tenbarge did talk to my stalker. And I mean, based on the first question, I would say that I would probably have the same concern. I'm just being honest with you guys. How does Alexa respond to the claim that she obtained a restraining order against a former Eat Predator member on false or complete pretense? Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, Kat, if I'm just being honest, if somebody has pictures of my daughter like this and they're posted, I would have a problem with that. I really would. And maybe they were friends and they were close, and that's how he has a picture like that. But if you get blocked, you shouldn't be reposting those kind of photos, because I would feel some type of way about that. But that's just me. Okay. Tenbarge relies on other uncredible and highly biased sources. Tenbarge's email also stated that she was in contact with 5 former members of Eat Predators. On April 26, 2024, Tenbarge admitted in an interview that Neela Luisa Salinas was one of Tenbarge's sources for the unpublished article. Additionally, Michaela Callie Higgins emailed Alexa on May 8, 2024, stating that she was in contact with Tenbarge and therefore likely one of Tenbarge's sources for the unpublished article. As explained in greater detail below, Salinas and Higgins are highly biased and unreliable former associates of Alexa. Okay, so she talks about Salinas. Salinas is a former volunteer of Eat Predators. When Alexa met Salinas in person at a protest, Alexa observed that Salinas was wearing an ankle monitor. When Alexa inquired about the ankle monitor, Salinas claims it was related to allegations she kidnapped her child from across state lines. Salinas left Eat Predators after Alexa informed the volunteers of the organization of Haley McMurray's harassment. Salinas sided with Haley McMurray and lashed out against Alexa in public. She created an anonymous account on X called Abuse of Power. Through the account, Salinas solicited complete strangers, many who never interacted with Alexa, for negative stories about Alexa. Some of these individuals were used by Tenbarge as sources for the unpublished story. So if it's an anonymous account, then I mean, clearly she knows who the account is, right? So it's not so anonymous, right? How do we know? Does Alexa provide a receipt for this? How do you know that this is Salinas is the anonymous account? And if she knows who it is, then it's not an anonymous account. Okay. From February 25th, 2024 through May 16 of 2025, the Abuses of Power account posted over 4,000 tweets attacking Alexa, but Laura true and accurate screenshots of a small number of posts Selena's made on the Abuses of Power account in that period. Yeah, but how do you know Selena's is behind this account if you don't like? Does it say so? I am Selena's and this is my account. Okay, it says Abuses of Power. Sorry, not sorry. Why does everything Alexa does come off as a complete performance of a character she plays? The facial expressions are far too contrived. Like, I'm cute as a 33-year-old grifter. Okay. Abuses of power. A meme is not a direct threat against your life, as you intentionally mischaracterized in court documents, had fellow henchmen write statements attesting to fear while weaponizing your pregnancy. The same henchmen who gave two hates and leave you. People talk, it's simple as that. Oh, so she's talking about, I mean, that's the question for the chat. In your opinion, can a meme be used as a direct threat or indirect threat against you? Maybe it's an indirect threat. That's the question that I have for y'all. Can a meme be used as an indirect threat? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I mean, that's a fantastic question. I never really thought about that. I mean, I've been threatened before and I've had a meme be used. I definitely took it as a threat. So, yeah, I would say yes, but that's just my opinion. Abuses of power. The slow factory. Do you care you're supporting a person who exploits children online? Claims that she has a stalker weaponizing the legal system against a black man. Wow. Is that the kind of liberation you're talking about? Liberation for rich, abusive white women like hashtag Alexa Nikolas grifters? Alexa Nikolas is a dangerous grifter using the horrible genocide in Palestine as her latest rebrand to seg into political advocacy, since she betrayed and exploited many of the survivors who supported and helped her eat predators to fund her continual con to the top. Um, Please read and do not fall for Alexa Nikolas' red herring rebrand of global activism. Do not support her. She's a dangerous, entitled, ignorant, and most importantly, unsafe for survivors. She needs help. The jig is up and receipts will flow. To be clear, Alexa Nikolas, we don't bother your family. The truth is, enough people don't like you from your past behavior that they send in messages. Here are the screenshots with names redacted so you don't harass survivors for passing along information. Alexa Nikolas, you are not being stalked. You are being called out for blatant exploitation, abuse of the survivor community that helped you build Eat Predators into a for-profit brand. The question is, when will you release the survivors from NDAs? Wait, take a bow. The performance is over. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did Alexa Nikolas have people sign NDAs? Is this real? But her logo says release survivors from NDAs. When will you release survivors from NDAs? Take a bow. The performance is over. Y'all, that's news to me. How are you like holding a sign release survivors from NDAs, but girl, you making people sign NDAs? Sometimes Alexa Nikolas might want to know we aren't doing any of these things. AOP is run by and for victims in screenshots testimony for their experience of abuse from Alexa and her mom, where real accounts hide because Alexa is dangerous. Hold up, I want to see if this is a real like NDA, because that's concerning. Like you're not standing with the brand that you're purporting to have. Like, and I'm just saying, So I'm zooming in, and yeah, it's an NDA, and somebody signed it. And here's another tweet: abuses of power. Scary that Alexa Nikolas exposes her kids to her mother, Alexandra Nikolas, knowing how she exploited Alexa in Hollywood and abandoned Lex at 16 to live with her alleged Pedialyte boyfriend, 25 years her senior. The man's name is they completely put that out there. Rodney Eastman, and a Canadian actor long before Rye. Okay, the way Alexa continuously lies and twists narratives to engender sympathy from her dwindling fan base is truly sick. She, from what I've heard, at Kat Tenbarge never contacted your stalker. You're making up stories to deflect from your actions. Again, it's pathological. When people get too close to the truth of who Alexa is, she weaponizes her platform and white privilege, abuses the legal system, screams stalker, reminds me of racist women from history. Let's not forget Alexa's Nicole attacked and harassed Kat Tenbarge, a serious advocate and journalist, for simply asking her to respond to allegations. But instead, she lawyered up to silence YouTubers, journalists, and everyday survivors. Girl, the abuser is you. Be so for real. And still, and again, still not taking accountability for her own predatory and misogynistic behavior in hiring a artist defender, Andrew Bretler. See, I will say this one right here took me out. Like, I did have questions about that. Now, I did see somewhere where she said that this lawyer was recommended to her by another survivor, but I don't know, y'all. While doxing victims from Drake's Bell's victim to everyday survivors who helped build EP, what a phony. Who still buys her grifts? Seriously. And then here's a tweet from Kat Tenbarge. No, Alexa Nikolas harasses victims herself. She just made a live stream harassing me for trying to report on it. And the live stream includes the harassment of other victims. Okay, abuses of power then says what Alexa Nikolas is doing with her platform and power is indicative of abuse many survivors have alleged as Alexa doing. She exploits survivors and silences them with blackmail and legal threats, and there's evidence and witnesses to this behavior. Bring it on. Okay, I'm not sure if you're aware at Kat Tenbarge, but as one of the many few journalists willing to give a voice to the survivors of Alexa Nikolas, the situation has only deteriorated as recent. She's currently weaponizing the legal system against two queer black men with false allegations. Okay, you said two queer black men? Okay, and then I know you probably want to move on from Alexa Nikolas like a bad dream, but now that you're independent and covering so many important social issues in the modern age, it would be great if you continue to fight the fight of speaking out with a Taylor Lorenz and another account that I don't know. Because the lack of a voice and transparency, Alexa continuously weaponizes the legal system against dissenters and expands her for non for profit biz as a self appointed representative of victims advocacy, attracting new victims to exploit to her cult of personality. Everyday people remain silent. And then the account is tagging Kat Tenbarge. You know, firsthand, just when Alexa's capable, when in her quest to silence dissenters. Please use your voice to help so many survivors who trusted their stories to you in the hopes of justice through simply being heard. Awareness needs to be what's widespread now. So that's just, but here's the question that I have for Alexa. How does Alexa know that this account is Selena's? Then that would not make this account anonymous. So I don't know how Alexa determined that this is Selena's, but maybe they'll let us know more on this lawsuit. Selena's also created various articles on Medium attacking and defaming Alexa. Medium unilaterally took down Selena's article for violating its term of services. Selena doxed the residence of Alexa's husband's parents, even publicly posting revenge prawn of Alexa. Revenge prawn of Alexa? What? Hold up. Just so I understand this correctly. So in California, because this is where Alexa lives, right? In California, revenge prawn laws punish those who intentionally share intimate images of someone else without consent, knowing they were meant to stay private and intending to cause or recklessly disregard emotional harm when real harm actually occurs. So that's revenge prawn in California. How Selena doxed the residence of Alexis's parents and even publicly posted revenge prawn of Alexa. Where did she get this revenge prawn? Where did she get this prawn of Alexa? Higgins. Higgins is a former volunteer for Eat Predators. Initially, Higgins demonstrated great interest in being involved with Eat Predators. Afterwards, Higgins demanded monetary compensation for protesting and stated she would not engage in any advocacy unless she was paid. As a result of Higgins' obsession with making her advocacy contingent on monetary compensation, the relationship between Higgins and Alexa soured, and Alexa asked Higgins to leave the group. Upon leaving, Higgins became retaliatory. She disparaged Alexa and Eat Predators to other nonprofit organizations. She also stole funds from Eat Predators' Patreon account and deposited those funds into her personal account. Oh my God. So you're accusing this woman of stealing, okay? Higgins has a documented history of engaging in defamation. In early March of 2024, Frederick Duran, aka DJ Snails, was awarded 1.5 against Higgins for defaming him in social media posts by falsely claiming he was a S predator. Prior to that, in 2021, Higgins was sued by her ex-boyfriend for defamation based on Higgins claiming he sexually assaulted her. Oh my God. So this is, wow. The matter ultimately settled. Alexa responded to Tenbarge 18 questions, and her counsel warns NBC. On the same day that Tenbarge sent the 18 questions, Alexa contacted Tenbarge by phone. Alexa explained to Tenbarge that she would provide detailed written responses and supporting documents in the coming days. Critically, during the call, Alexa offered to show Tenbarge how to obtain the Bell records online to refute Tenbarge's assertion that Bell records were sealed. Surprisingly, Tenbarge explicitly stated that she was not interested in this information. Immediately after the call, Alexa memorialized this aspect of the conversation in text. Tenbarge eventually agreed to receive the information on how to access the Bell records in a written response. A true and correct screenshot of Alexis's April 16, 2024 text exchange with Tenbarge is contained below. Okay, so here's the message. Hey, Kat, sorry, I know you said you didn't want the Drake Bell docs on the phone from the Cleveland police records. We obviously spoke about them being publicly available. Are you sure? Putting the file together. Thursday by 5 p.m. Eastern, look for WeTransfer. Look for a WeTransfer. I guess this is Kat. If you want to include the Drake Bell docs in the file, that would be fine by me, but no pressure either way. I'll let you know when I get the WeTransfer notification. Thank you. And then she says, my response and evidence will be on the Google Drive. We needed more space. I'll let you know when it's sent over. Okay. So on April 18, 2024, Alexa provided 115 pages of written responses and supporting documentation to Tenbarge in response to the 18 questions. The instructions on how to access the Bell records were provided in response to the third question. Alexa also provided Tenbarge with the Google Drive of other documents, which include the publicly available Bell records. On April 19, 2024, Alexa's prior counsel sent a letter to NBC's legal department about the unpublished article, the first legal letter to NBC. Who's the prior counsel? Was that Andrew Bretler? That's the question. The letter was to ensure that NBC did not proceed with publishing defamatory statements against Alexa or Eat Predators. Tenbarge was not a recipient of the first legal letter to NBC. A true and correct copy of the first legal letter to NBC is attached herein to Exhibit G. Okay. On April 24, 2024, Alexa announced on her YouTube channel that she would be taking a hiatus due to Haley McMurray's violating the restraining order and Tenbarge facilitating additional violations of the restraining order. A true and correct screenshot of the Alexa's post is contained below. Update. Shortly after I filed the police report against my stalker for violating his restraining order, he has retaliated and has attempted to weaponize the court system to further stalk and harass me. Meanwhile, his enablers, including a journalist, are orchestrating a malicious attempt to platform him. This has been incredibly re-traumatizing, harmful to my well-being, and puts me and my family's life at serious risk. The fear for my life and my daughter's life was severely impacted by my ability to live stream and focus on activism. Thank you for this community and supporters who have reached out. I will keep you updated on the situation. I'm assuming it says develops because the read more is not available here. Sometime after Alexa provided her messages to Tenbarge, 18 questions, and the first legal letter to NBC, Tenbarge's article was surreptitiously updated. References to exposing Rich and other X accounts or sources and other X accounts as sources were removed. Oh. On information and belief, NBC Legal took a closer review of the Tenbarge article after the first legal letter to NBC. In response, NBC indicated the removal of reference to exposing Rich and other social media accounts from Tenbarge article due to their lack of reliability and clear bias. Tenbarge facilitates Haley Murray's breach of the restraining order. Oh, wow. This is a huge allegation, okay? But let's keep reading. On April 25th, 2024, Tenbarge emailed Haley McMurray. In the emails, Tenbarge acknowledged the existence of a restraining order against Haley McMurray. In the email, Tenbarge asked Haley McMurray several questions about Alexa and the restraining order. A true and correct copy of Tenbarge's April 25th, 2024 email to Haley McMurray is attached herein as Exhibit H. So there's an email to support this communication. Oh my God. Shortly after, Haley McMurray responded to Tenbarge in the written statement. Haley McMurray violated the restraining order by utilizing Tenbarge to communicate indirectly with Alexa, including making several false and disparaging statements about Alexa in the email. Haley McMurray requested that he have until May 7, 2024, provide his official comment. A true and correct copy of Haley McMurray's written statement responding to Tenbarge is attached hereto as Exhibit I. On May 7, 2025, Haley McMurray sent a follow-up written statement to Tenbarge. In the email, Haley McMurray violated the restraining order again by discussing and disparaging Alexa. Well, in the restraining order, I mean, typical restraining orders, it says that you cannot have a third party contact the victim, right? So that would be like facilitate to violating a restraining order. But the tricky part is that if Kat is working on a story pertaining to this situation, then how would that work, right? Wouldn't she be able to talk to the other person? Anyways, guys, let me know in the comments if further go. In addition, Haley McMurray provided two links. The first link was to the complaint in Milosh versus Gibbs Law LLP for malicious prosecution. The case involved Alexis's ex-husband initiated a malicious prosecution against Alexa's former attorneys. On February 9, 2023, the court granted Alexa's former attorney an anti-SLAPP motion because the complaint arose from statements made in connection with judicial proceedings, and the claim was devoid of merit. The second link was to a Google Drive containing PDFs of Selena's articles posted on Medium that were taken down. So, upon information and belief, NBC issued an MDCA takedown notice. The exhibits containing Tenbarge correspondence with Haley McMurray was submitted to the Los Angeles Superior Court by Haley McMurray on February 24, 2025, in connection with his unsuccessful motion to terminate the restraining order. A true and correct copy of Haley McMurray's May 7, 2025 written statements to Tenbarge is attached herein to Exhibit J. We don't have to see these exhibits. Alexa discovered Tenbarge's correspondence with Haley McMurray on May 7th, 2025. On that day, Haley McMurray submitted Tenbarge's correspondence with Haley McMurray as evidence to support his request to terminate the restraining order. The correspondence had the exact opposite effect. It emphasized why keeping the restraining order in place was necessary and proper. Indeed, on May 7, 2025, the court renewed the restraining order and included Alexis's newborn son. Okay. NBC puts an end to Tenbarge's unpublished article. Sometime thereafter, NBC killed Tenbarge's unpublished article. Tenbarge subsequently claimed that the unpublished article did not come out because Alexa wasn't viewed as a well-known enough person. Oh, that's that irrelevant comment. Irrelevant, irrelevant. You guys, that comment took a life of its own. This claim fails to withstand scrutiny. In the period following the release of Quiet on the Set, March 17, 2024, the public interest in Alexa was at its greatest, as evident by numerous articles discussing her involvement in the series. Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. A lot of people talked about it. So I wouldn't say that she wasn't irrelevant, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was kind of interesting, and people kind of ran with the relevant, relevant, irrelevant. Anyways, on information, I believe the actual reason why NBC ended the unpublished article were: one, Alexa compendium of responses and exhibits to the 18 questions, and two, Tenbarge's reliance on highly biased and unreliable sources as a direct result. Tenbarge lost significant credibility with NBC, which Tenbarge blames on Alexa. Did she lose credibility with NBC? I mean, was that the reason? I guess we'll let Kat answer to that. I mean, I do wonder. Tenbarge attacks Alexa through Adam McIntyre. Oh man. So this is gonna be interesting because I think Adam did do a video. I haven't watched it yet, but I will at some point. On September 8th, 2024, Alexa made a post on X that contained a picture of Tenbarge with the caption, "One of the reasons I took a break." In response, Tenbarge deployed her close friend and gossip YouTuber Adam McIntyre to attack Alexa. Tenbarge has been friends with McIntyre since he was a minor. Indeed, in a notorious episode, Tenbarge provided McIntyre alcohol when he was only 16 when McIntyre visited the United States. Tenbarge is also responsible for saving McIntyre's YouTube channel after YouTube terminated his account in 2021 for harassment. Wait, what? Tenbarge is also responsible for saving McIntyre's YouTube channel after YouTube terminated his account in 2021 for harassment. Wow, I didn't know that his account had been terminated. On September, I do wonder where she got this information. Okay. On September 9th, 2024, McIntyre released a video entitled "The Truth About Alexa Nikolas," the first McIntyre video. The first McIntyre video was a preemptive attempt to defend Tenbarge and to paint Alexa as attacking Bell's victim. McIntyre attempted to provide Tenbarge's alibi to support her claims that Bell's records were sealed. If someone could please redirect me to maybe a place online where Alexa has said that she has them or how she got them, I would love to know. I would really love to know. All I know right now is that Kat called the court, and the court were saying that for that amount, the subject, it would really only be lawyers. But I would love for someone to direct me in the place where Alexa says she got them. Okay, let's keep going. This excuse fails to withstand scrutiny. It is well known that there is a First Amendment right to access judicial records in a criminal proceeding. The clerk of court would also be able to determine whether a case is filed under seal pursuant to Ohio law. It would require a court order sealing the documents. Rather, this was an excuse that Tenbarge fabricated to conceal her blind repetition of exposing rich claims that the Bell records were sealed in the Tenbarge article. This is not the only glaring intentional falsehood in the first McIntyre video. In the video, McIntyre repeated a false claim that could only be attributed to Tenbarge, that Alexa never responded to Tenbarge's 18 questions. Okay, so I think this is like a quote. Kat Tenbarge has been working on a deep dive of Alexa Nikolas and Eat Predators. And within that deep dive, Kat spoke with 6 members of Eat Predators. And obviously, with journalism comes the other side of the story. And that involves reaching out to Alexa, who is, the biggest part of Eat Predators, and getting her side. And yeah, probably challenging her on allegations and accusations that a lot of them have been made public for Eat Predators. So Alexa went into silence and is now blaming Kat. Yeah, I guess that's a quote from Adam McIntyre. This was an intentional falsehood that McIntyre also knew was false. In the first McIntyre video, McIntyre reads the first legal letter to NBC, which Tenbarge leaked to McIntyre in violation of NBC's policy to not disclose any unpublished news or news gathering information. McIntyre stops reading the first legal letter to NBC just before the sentence discussing Alexa's Alexa's April 18, 2024 response to Tenbarge 18 questions. Okay, so Tenbarge defamatory statements. On September 9, 2024, Tenbarge made a series of posts on X that Tenbarge knew were false or were made in reckless disregard for the truth. Okay, all this proves, this is a statement. All this proves is that you have been sending around sealed documents from Drake Bell's court case unprompted, as the text from you shows that I did not want them and you insisted, all in an effort to undermine his underage victim's testimony that you previously defended. I did read that tweet. I remember that tweet. This was before I confirmed that Cleveland court that these documents were not publicly available, and before I opened the files you sent me and saw they were also redacted and bore no evidence of being submitted to court in the first place. It was very disturbing. They were not marked by county/city. They appeared to be internal documents used by Drake's legal team. Okay, there's that. Yes, they do, and none of them were redacted at all. You did no such thing that would be called a FOIA request. It would take months and years to get documents back, and they would be heavily redacted if you ever received them at all. Well, it doesn't take months or years to get a FOIA. No, it does not. That's wrong. They would certainly not send hundreds of documents containing private info like you sent me. This is off the wall. I've seen documents that aren't even redacted be sent. Doesn't mean you should share the information, but it doesn't take months or years. Sure, I'm sure that there's been cases where FOIAs take months and years, but depending on the case, you can get a FOIA pretty quickly, and depending on what's going on. First, she says she got them from the court, then the police. So interesting. Courts and police officers famously love to give random people hundreds of documents concerning alleged child SA. And it's famously very legal to tweet and live stream images from these documents. Yeah, maybe if the documents are pertaining to a minor, it might be hard to get, but I don't think it takes months and years. Notably, the documents you can access through this method are not the documents you send me. They are public records, around 30 pages of them, containing no personal information. You send me hundreds of documents from the case itself. Also on September 9, 2024, Alexa conducted a live stream titled The Truth About Kat Tenbarge. Tenbarge invaded Alexa's live chat for the video and doubled down on her defamatory statements. Well, Alexa, why didn't you block her? Like, you could block people. I get what she's saying. Like, she came in here and she was talking, because I saw that they were talking to people in the chat. But if you don't block somebody, they wouldn't know not to contact you or to engage or anything, right? I would have probably blocked, but that's just me. All my sources are survivors who went to Alexa for help and support, who were betrayed by her, sadly. Wow. And there's more tweets here. Absolutely ridiculous. They shouldn't have even sealed those documents. If Alexa and her husband even understood what the docs are, but they don't think they are public. Yes, Drake's lawyer hired a PI to interview random women, and one of them made anti-Semitic comments in these sealed documents. And Alexa, send me these sealed documents. The documents are sealed. Maybe you got them from Drake Bell. Receipts of the documents being sealed posted multiple people. It's defamation to say the sealed court docs are sealed. Good luck with that. I asked in my question where Alexa got the sealed docs, and she still never answered. The public documents don't match up with the documents Alexa tweeted a few hours ago. She tweeted a sealed doc, not part of the public doc. They don't even know the difference between sealed and public docs, I fear. So these are all quotes from Kat Tenbarge, right? The court clerk said that she didn't know how Alexa got those documents. She posted sealed docs from the Drake Bell court case that could be considered a misdemeanor in Ohio. Oh my God, I feel horrible for Drake's victim. Alexa is put her sealed info on Twitter. Alexa, you're going to leak the victim's sealed documents. If the documents aren't sealed, then prove it. A true and correct copy of the screenshots of the aforementioned live chat are attached hereto in Exhibit K. Tenbarge's false statements spread across the internet like wildfire. Countless videos and social media posts were made repeating Tenbarge's false statements that Alexa publicly disclosed, sealed, and documents to attack Bell's victim. Haley McMurray even included screenshots of his videos in support of his request to terminate the restraining order. In the aggregate, these videos were viewed by millions of people. A true and correct screenshot of a small portion of these videos is included below. Look at this. So, like, I mean, I've seen some of these videos actually. I think I've seen all of them. But these are all different creators. So, is Alexa saying that because Kat said all this, then all of these videos were created? On September 13th, 2023, McIntyre made a live stream entitled Addressing Alexa Nikolas, the second McIntyre video. In the second McIntyre video, McIntyre repeated several of the defamatory posts made by Tenbarge on September 9, 2024, in an attempt to discredit and disparage Alexa. On September 13, 2024, and in response to a second McIntyre video, Alexa made a post on X that contained the link to the Bell police records on the City of Cleveland website. In the post, Alexa explained, Kat lied to everyone and defamed me with malicious intent. These documents shared privately to her via a G drive when questioned by her were not sealed. I sent them to show her that they were not sealed. They were public redacted records. Link. They are here they are. On September 17, 2024, Alexa's prior counsel sent NBC counsel another letter, the second legal letter to NBC. The second legal letter to NBC identified Tenbarge defamatory statements and explained how McIntyre and others repeated those statements. The second legal letter to NBC identified statements by Tenbarge and indicated NBC approved her defamatory statements. A true and correct copy of the second legal letter to NBC is attached hereto as Exhibit L. We go look at these exhibits, girl. On September 24th, 2025, McIntyre made a post on X that contained a picture of Tenbarge and McIntyre with the caption Alexa Nikolas nightmare. This was an obvious attempt by McIntyre and Tenbarge to taunt bully Alexa by claiming victory that their false narrative successfully painted Alexa as a fraud and hypocrite. On October 21st, 2024, NBC responded to Alexa's prior counsel. In the letter, NBC expressly claimed that the X defamatory statements and live chat defamatory statements, collectively, the defamatory statements were done within the scope of her employment. Look at this. This is what I was saying. I was like, shouldn't NBC, if you're suing Alexa, because wouldn't Alexa be under NBC at this time? NBC would be here. NBC further disclaimed any involvement or responsibility for Tenbarge defamatory statements. A true and correct copy of NBC's October 21st, 2024 letter is attached hereto in Exhibit M. On January 22nd, 2025, Tenbarge was terminated from NBC. On information and belief, a contributing factor to Tenbarge's termination was her irresponsible reliance on unreliable sources for the Tenbarge article and unpublished article, and 2, her defamatory statements towards Alexa. Wait, so she got fired from NBC because of Alexa? Kat, you said you got laid off, you might have to show that letter or something that says I was laid off because of this, because that's what Alexa's saying in this lawsuit. I'm just saying, girl. Okay, let's keep going. So these are the first actions. I want to look at these exhibits. Okay, the exhibits are not included in the lawsuit. So I thought these exhibits were in this lawsuit. They're not included. What happened? And this is her lawyer, okay? Her lawyers, actually. Listen. You guys let me know what you think in the comments about this whole situation. I don't know these people. I'm just reading the lawsuit, reviewing the information, but I mean, how do you guys land with this? Where do you guys land with this? Was Alexa done wrong? Or was there more to this story? Kat Tenbarge What does she have to say about I have a lot of questions about this, but I thought we would have gotten some kind of like exhibits or something. I'm looking, I don't see any exhibits. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.